Another thing, and I can really get into quinoa, and all my children now are really getting into doing alternative types of cooking, alternative what I consider is not soul food. But we soul foodize a lot of our meals. Cauliflower, there's so many ways that we can make cauliflower healthy. We can rice it, make cauliflower rice. Now again, you would say, cauliflower vegetable is white, is not good, you know. It's very good. It takes on, again, the flavor of whatever you want. You put some gravy over that. It tastes like rice and gravy. You can mash it up. Cauliflower can be cooked very soft, mashed up, and you put some butter on that stuff. It tastes like cauliflower. It doesn't taste like potato. But in your mind, you don't have to have the potato. You can have the mashed cauliflower as your potato dish. And you can flavor it how you like. If you like mashed potatoes, why do you like mashed potatoes? That's the blandest thing in the world. You like it because of what you put on it, how you season it. If you didn't put salt on that potato, yeah, it wouldn't be worth eating. If you didn't put any butter on it, it wouldn't be worth eating. So that's why, so you have to find alternative ways to make things that seem, actually better. There's cauliflower pasta. And it actually, for those who's tried it, it's okay. What does pasta taste like? It's okay. It's the sauce. It's the sauce that makes it. So make sure you keep that in mind. And then whole grain bread as opposed to just white bread. You definitely want to go whole grain, because you're going to get a better flavor, and there's more fiber, and it's healthier for you. Those grains in there are actually helping you, so those are important. And then we're going to talk about, now we talked a little bit about nutrition, and I can go on and on about that, and hopefully you all can read over that. I hope it's not causing you to be too uncomfortable reading. Now we're going to talk about activity levels, something we never want to talk about, we don't want anything to do with, particularly when it gets cold. But there are studies, and why do I keep bringing up these studies? Because you can go to the internet and somebody's going to say, do this, do that, because it's healthy for you. If they don't have studies backing it, what's the point? Don't even look at that crap. It's garbage. There's so much misinformation on the internet. During the COVID crisis, when it was as more of a crisis, y'all don't understand. There is still an epidemic. It's not as much a pandemic, but it's an epidemic. Ain't nice either. Not only that, there's an epidemic of flu. And I'm just throwing this in. This wasn't part of my talk, but I want to do it because it's timely. We're seeing right now the largest, we're going to see, and this is, again, this is prophetic, but it's prophetic based on fact. We're going to see the worst case of flu epidemic that we've seen probably in the last 20, 30, 40 years. This year, this is what we're going to see. Why is that? Because of what you see now. We don't have masks on. We're not adequately protecting ourselves. And I'm along with it. I'm tired of that stuff too. I'm tired of wearing masks, especially since I've already had COVID. I've been vaccinated. I've had every vaccination that has come out. I'm fairly well protected. So if I get it again, I will have built up immunity enough that I probably will be okay. And they have medications now that treat COVID. So if you get it and you test positive, you can take the medicine. Just like if you had, tell me who here, if they had a strep throat, wouldn't take an antibiotic? Raise your hand. If you had strep throat, you would not take an antibiotic. If you had a urinary tract infection, you would not take an antibiotic. Raise your hand. This is supposed to be interactive, y'all. Raise your hand. Nobody's going to raise their hand on that. So I'm telling you now, there is an antiviral medication that treats COVID. So what would probably 20% of you all saying, I ain't taking it? I'm not taking that. It's got too many side effects. The side effect of someone committing suicide with some of these medications, the side effect profile for most of those medications do show that there is a slight increase in suicide with most antidepressant medications, most anti-anxiety medications, most medications for ADD. There's a slight increase in that. But there's a huge number of people that are helped by these medications. And when we talk mental health, all medicines have side effects. All of them. There is not one that doesn't, because it's a medicine. It's going to have a side effect. So when we worry about side effects, what we need to do is talk to our PCP, talk to the person that we hopefully trust. If you don't trust that person, leave them. If you don't trust the person that you consider your PCP, if you don't trust that they're going to tell you the right information, leave them. And tell them Dr. Alford said, leave them. Because if you don't trust them, you're trusting someone with your life, but yet you say that, well, they tell me to do this, I'm not going to do that. What's the point? Why are you coming? So that's why I say listen to the person that you trust with your life, the person that you trust with your children's life, your parents' life. Listen to them. They've done some study. As I said, 40 years for me. So I dare a person to come to me and say, you know, I just read on the internet that, really? So your 15-minute internet review beats my 40 years of experience? How dare you? And I'm very serious about that. My patients don't come to me with that stuff because they trust me. They'll come to me and say, you know, I read this, and I'll say, let me see that. Let me see that article. Print it out for me. I want to see it. Because I want to see where there's reference to. Who wrote the article? Where did they get their information from? Is it just somebody saying, you know what I think? Yeah. Because most times that's what it is. Yes?
I have a quick question for you.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the
I appreciate
medicine,
this too. I mean, if you all have questions, I didn't say it in the beginning, but it's interactive, so please, go
the
ahead.
medicine that you can get when you get COVID is not readily available for everyone, because I know people that have gotten COVID and they won't give it to them. Is there a reason why?
If they have poor kidney function,
Okay.
that's one of the reasons.
Okay.
They may not be able, because it might not be healthy for them, but that would be the only reason, other than the doctor isn't informed. That could be.
Yeah.
The medicine's free. Government's still paying for it, even the antiviral medication.
Yeah.
I know because I just had to take it myself. What was that, three weeks ago?
I just know people that have gotten COVID and they wanted the medication and their doctor wouldn't touch them. And it wasn't because of a kidney thing.
Yeah,
It was
it
just,
was because the doctors-
because they said they weren't at high risk.
The doctor's probably ill-informed, to be very honest.
Okay.
I'm not talking about any specific doctor.
Nope.
But that doctor is probably ill-informed. There are very few people that will not do well taking Paxlovid is one of the medications. FDA approved, excellent medication. I just happened to be part of a super spreader event. My uncle had his 80th birthday. It was the Monday before, the Friday before, Saturday before Thanksgiving. So there were 150 people, big hotel auditorium, not auditorium, but banquet hall, big. About 150 people came to this party, and family, friends, all of that. None of us wearing masks, including me. I had not had COVID before, but I felt fairly comfortable. Nobody was at my table coughing, sneezing, none of that. I looked around, everybody looked okay. I had the mask on at first, because I was thinking, I don't want to get COVID from all these people. Had the mask on at first, took it off, got comfortable. Everybody was having a good time. That Wednesday, I had fever, body aches, a little chill. So I'm like, something's up. Told my wife, I'm gonna go to bed a little early tonight. She's like, oh, you sick? I never go to bed early. So she said, oh my God, you sick? I'm like, I don't feel the best. I just don't feel the best. So I went to bed. I told her to sleep in the other bedroom. She did. And she didn't go to the super spreader event. And we didn't know it was a super spreader event, obviously. Wouldn't have gone. I would have gone probably. Yes. So found out that next day was, at Wednesday, I told you, was when I felt kind of funny. That was the day before Thanksgiving. That night, high fever, 102, chills, muscle aches, sneezing, congested, cough. Like, man, I had my vaccine. Just like a lot of people said, that vaccine, what? I shouldn't be sick. Well, no, that's not the way it works. It helps to keep you from getting sick enough to die, okay? Or it lessens the likelihood that you would die from the illness. It doesn't stop you from getting COVID. And that was a misconception a lot of people had when it first came out. So I went on and called in my prescription for my medication myself, and picked up my prescription myself. Found out it was free. I didn't know it was free. Government's paying for it still. And so took the medication. Within 48 hours, had absolutely no symptoms. Nothing. No fever, no chills, no muscle ache, nothing. The same day that I called on Thanksgiving, that I called for my prescription, I called in my sister, y'all know Ellen. Called her. She had it too. She had tested positive. Her husband hadn't. He hadn't. I don't know why he didn't. But she was positive. My other sister that was at the table, she was positive. Called in a prescription for her. My cousin who was at the table, she became positive. All of us. I mean, just about not everybody at the table. Out of our table of 8, 4 of us got COVID. The table next to us, 3 of those folks from that 8 got COVID. So, you know, I know. It won't hurt. You wear that mask. Kind of late now. So, but you know, it is what it is. Because all of us would take an antibiotic for strep, or if they told you you had the flu, many of us would go on to take the medication for the flu. But when it comes to COVID, because of the political ramifications that surrounded everything around COVID, that's the reason we have such uncomfortable feelings about that particular disease. And it's unfortunate that that happened. That's only because we allowed physicians, allowed politicians to actually cause that to be an issue, and then the internet intervened and made it even worse. So unfortunately, that's the case. I wasn't going to talk about COVID. Boy, it's almost like you can't give a talk, a health talk today, and not talk about it. So 30 minutes a day for your activity, 5 days a week. Aerobic is better than weight training. I'm not saying you should not do weight training. You can do toning, you can do other exercises, but make sure you get the aerobic stuff in. That's going to actually help your heart, the most important muscle in your body. So you want to make sure you do that. Tai Chi. Many of us don't even know what Tai Chi is. It sounds some kind of Japanese martial art type thing. Well, it is. It's a martial art. I actually know Tai Chi, and I do it daily, and I teach my patients how to do it. I have a little sheet that I give them, and I say, this is how you do it. It's very simple. You can get on the internet. There's free classes, all of that. Tai Chi is amazing, the kind of things that we found Tai Chi does over the years. Now, this thing is thousands of years old. This isn't something new. It's been around for thousands of years. But yet we're realizing there's a lot of health benefit to that. No different than yoga. You're hearing more and more people are doing yoga and actually living longer and living better. It's not always about how many years you get. It's what you do with those years and how those years, how you function during those years. So biofeedback is another type of health-related activity. You can actually control your own blood pressure when you learn how to do biofeedback type techniques. So people that have hypertension can actually feel when their blood pressure is high, and they can actually regulate it and bring their own blood pressure down when you learn the techniques of how to do it. It's not easy, but you can learn how to do that. First of all, to detect that there's a problem, but secondarily, to actually treat it, you can do that. So activity is important. We're going to talk about sleep. I sleep about 4 to 5 hours a night. And it's just me. And there's some other folks that do that too. I've done that since high school. That's all I sleep. But that's me. That's not other people. My wife sleeps 10 to 12 hours a night. And that's her. And that's comfortable for her. If she doesn't get her at least 10 hours of sleep, she's going to be napping in the middle of the day because that's the amount that she needs. Sleep is definitely something that strengthens you, builds you up. You cannot really have a really good day without a good night's sleep. Your body will try to catch up. If you don't get enough, whatever your amount is, I say 6 to 10 hours, more or less. People try to restrict people and say, you got to get 6 hours of sleep, you got to get 8 hours. No, you got to get what you know how much sleep you need? When you wake up. If you have an alarm that wakes you up, that's artificially waking you up. But you sleep until your body wakes up. And so most retired people understand that. They understand that, and they know how many hours they need to sleep. Most working people don't really have a clue because we don't get a chance to get it in. Because we got to go to work, we got other kinds of activities that we have to do. We're helping this one, helping that one. We got to do so many other things in our lives that we don't really look at how many hours we really need. But most retired people can tell you, because if you go to bed when you get sleepy, wake up when you feel like it, and you're really ready, that's how many hours of sleep you need. So take a Saturday one time, or a Sunday. I would prefer a Saturday because I want to get rid of some people have the religious activities on Sunday. But just sleep and let yourself wake up when you wake up, and you'll know about how much sleep you need. Unless you've gone a full week of not sleeping well, then you're going to oversleep anyway. So then you're really not measuring how much sleep you need. You measure how much sleep you needed for that night, but you need to really get an idea of how much sleep you really need. Good quality sleep is important. Just sleeping, a lot of times you're laying in the bed, tossing and turning, that's not sleep. I mean, there's some of that time is not sleep. Sleepwalking, that's not good sleep. That's not good sleep hygiene. There's problems with that. You need to see somebody about that. If you're having loud snoring, then you may not be getting adequate sleep. Okay, you may even have sleep apnea syndrome, or some other type of medical problem that causes you to not be able to sleep as well. You may just have sinus issues that clog up your congestion, have congestion in your sinuses, and so you don't sleep as well there. So when you wake up, and I'm probably going to be touching about 15% of you right now. You wake up and you go, man, that's all I had, man, slept it off. You slept 6 to 8 hours. You slept the number, but you just don't feel good. Face feels heavy, feel kind of congested. You just don't feel like you've rested enough, and you really haven't. And so you need to take care of that condition as well. So sleep is important. We're going to talk a little bit about stress. So is it important? We just heard how important it is to talk about mental health. It's important. I think it's important. Why? This is interactive. Why is stress, mental health, why is it important?
Almost everybody has it, causes stress.
It's part of all of our lives. So if everybody's having to deal with it, that in itself makes it important. Are people dying from it? Yeah. People are dying because of it. So that's the reason why 30,000 people die from suicide in the United States every year. There's a whole lot more people that are trying and they fail. A lot. That's a lot of people, y'all. 30,000 people. That's every year. And the rate starts to increase in age until you get to about 45, 55 group. That's the peak age. And then it kind of peters out. And then it peaks again at age 85. Why do you think that is? At 85, why would somebody want to commit suicide? Loneliness. Yeah. So loneliness does kill. Losing that spouse that you've had for 60 years. You've been with that person 60 years. That person, like a twin, is part of you. I can't imagine living my life. I've only been with my wife 38 years. I can't imagine, I say only, a lot of folks, they say, wow, that's a lot of years. Now, 38 years, I cannot imagine my life without her. I just can't. I don't know what life would be like. And so that's important. So at 85, that's when it peaks again. And 85-year-olds, look out for them. When they're in their 80s, look out. And so if they've lost a spouse recently, be watching them. Watch them carefully. If you have a parent or an aunt, uncle, whatever, that's important. Stay with those folks. Usually it's unmarried men, or if they've been divorced or widowed, they'll tend to more likely be the ones that will commit suicide. But a lot of people think that the holidays is that peak time for suicide. It's not. It's not. And I thought that too for a long time, until I looked at the data. April is the month. They haven't really determined exactly what it is. But, the hustle and bustle of the holidays, all this kind of stuff, I think what happens is that people kind of put off because they don't want to hurt their family. They don't want to, they're depressed, they're really suicidal, but they're not doing it because they're thinking, I don't want another death around the holidays because my mom died around the holidays, my auntie, I remember some bad things about the holidays. So people just don't do it as much. But then when the spring sets in, it's like, get it on. Everybody's okay now. Let's take care of this thing.
Pick another month.
So, what's that?
I said pick another month.
I know. Oh, was that your birth month?
Yeah.
I didn't pick it. The people making suicide attempts of doing this. Yes, I see another thing.
I've heard that people who commit suicide is people who commit suicide is heard. I've heard that it's a selfless act. So
Selfish.
Selfish act.
Okay, was it selfless?
Thank you. So if they're waiting to do it after the holidays, during the holidays, I don't think it will matter to me if it's a selfish act.
It may be considered a selfish act just because they do it, not because when they do it. They may still feel like, I don't want to do it during that time. I don't want to do it during that time. Because maybe I can have some fun over the holidays, maybe. But then they realize, I really didn't have any fun. It really wasn't all that. Life really isn't all that. It just isn't. Even the holidays was bad. I thought the holidays was going to make it for me. You know what I'm saying? I thought being with my family was going to help me. I thought this or that. Who knows? We don't know the reason why, because we can't go back and question those folks. That's the problem. So it's very difficult to do a study like that. You can make all kind of, thoughts about, well, could be this, could be that. We don't know. There's certain things that in medicine we'll never know. And so, we can think it through and make theories and all that. But there's certain things we just ain't gonna know. And I think that's one of those things we just won't know. It is just a fact that it happens. So we have to accept it. We started talking more about stress during the pandemic because people were more open about it and they actually realized it. And so it became out there and become an issue that people were talking about. Folks would talk about. It kind of opened that door to talk about mental health. We talked about the children and their mental health and why they weren't in school and they needed to be in school because it's harming their mental health. And we talked about all of that stuff. And so we got it out there. Thank God we got it out there because now we can talk freely about it, but still not enough. We still need to talk about it more because there's a lot of people suffering and not doing anything about it. Because we can do some things about stress because we all have it. We can just stand still and do nothing. We just let it just take us over. Or we can get real angry. Just not trust people. Just be depressed about it. We can choose that. It's a choice. That's a choice. We can just turn in ourselves and just, have medical issues come about because of headaches, high blood pressure, ulcers, strokes, heart attacks because of the stress. Or we can do something about it. We can strive to achieve more. We can make that choice. That's a choice. That's a choice. It's a decision. We can become more creative with our depression. In the midst of our depression, some of the most depressed people are some of the most creative people. You look at Van Gogh and some of these other, creative artists. a lot of them, I mean, even some of the artists that are now in jail, I won't mention any names. One of which should be in jail. But they're having mental illness issues, but they're artists, and they're good ones. They're good ones. I mean, it's amazing the art that comes out of mental illness. But if we can control it and find some ways to push it to where we need to make it more creative, people can solve more problems when they're under stress. I know if I'm under stress, I'm trying my best to do what I need to do to get out from under it. And so I become more of a problem solver. And sometimes you can get real excited. You can say, this is a terrible problem. Let me go and try to do something about it. That's what we should be. That's how we should look at things. I see mental health as a problem. I feel like I need to do something about it. If it's nothing more than just creating more awareness, I want to do that. I want to do something. So how do you know when your family, friend, somebody's stressed or depressed? This is one of those times where you can kind of shout out. Yeah, when they're isolating themselves. Any other things?
See it on their face.
They get tears for no reason. What was that?
Different behaviors?
Yeah, being different, doing some different stuff, not acting like themselves. Yeah.
Right. I thought I could become more argumentative.
Find reason to argue with folks. And I got a brother like that. Just find a reason to argue. Because he's depressed, he's down, so anything comes to him, he's got an argument for it. So yeah, he's depressed. He is clinically depressed. And those are some of the things.
You could lose weight or gain weight.
Yeah, you either overeat or undereat.
Mailbox.
What's that?
The mailbox.
What about the mailbox?
Them letters. Bills.
It took a while. I had to process that one.
Thanks every month.
Sometimes checks coming. But there's more than bad things that come than the good stuff. So yeah, I got you. Yeah, I'm telling you. So noticing that somebody's feeling sad, miserable, angry, down most of the time, if it's more than 2 weeks, you need to, if that's not like them, you probably need to call somebody. Just not wanting to do stuff that they used to like to do. They like to go out to the movies and stuff, and you ask them, if they like going out to eat and stuff like that, and yet, you can't find the thing that makes them happy. That's called anhedonia. That's the term that we in medical science use. Hedon, think of a hedonistic. A hedon is in the Bible is somebody that's out there just doing it, having a good old time, doing whatever. That's hedon. A person that's anhedonic is a person that don't want to do nothing, don't want to have fun. You come up with all kinds of fun activities, they don't want to do it. So they have that anhedonia. So that's important to look out for that person that's like that. Sometimes they're just kind of paranoid, feeling like, I ain't going anywhere, I ain't going to do anything because something might happen. Yeah, something's always good happening. Absolutely. Right there sitting in your house. A plane can come and crash to the house. But are you going to get out of the house because of that? No. So, so that's just unusual preoccupation with negative things that might happen. Just not being productive at work, not being productive at home, sleeping a lot, being tardy, and just being absent at work and not really having a good excuse for it. If you're a coworker with one of these people, or if you're the supervisor of one of those people, that's a terrible thing. But you need to kind of note that that's what's happening. So there's some ways we can deal with stress. Mindfulness. What is mindfulness? It's like becoming aware of the moment. It's just kind of being aware of what's happening right now. It's just sitting back, and sometimes it's related, most times related to some type of meditation, and prayer. It's just being in the moment and just kind of recognizing that life is okay. I'm okay. And you can actually make yourself feel better. You can. You have it within yourself to make yourself feel better, at least for the time. I encourage folks to read more. There's so much stuff written out there about depression, anxiety, mindfulness, really controlling your anxieties, controlling your depression, all of it. There's a whole lot of stuff out there. Have somebody, like a friend or family member, be that support person for you, and you be that support person for them. Life can be considered challenges, It can be challenges that we can want to see. We can look for challenges. I kind of look for challenges. I don't look at challenges as something I need to get away from or step away from. I look at challenges as something I need to deal with, because when you deal with it and you succeed over it, you feel so much better. You do. You just feel better. And so don't look at all of these life challenges as ways of, I gotta get away from that. That's scaring me. Go for it. Go into it with the feeling that I'm gonna beat this thing. Whatever this thing is, I'm gonna beat this thing. Compliment people when you see people doing a good job. Compliment them. It'll make you feel better. When you tell somebody, man, you did a good job. Y'all don't have to do that with me. Y'all don't tell me that. Man, you did a good job. That makes you feel better. The fact that you made somebody else feel better. When a young lady is dressed nicely, man, you really should say, girl, you really look good today. You look great. There is not a woman in this room that would not like that. Like that. And there's not a guy in the room that wouldn't like someone to say, male or female, to say, you look good today. You look pretty good. Make people feel better, because it'll make you feel better. Just because you're acknowledging that somebody else, may need that. So, avoid smoking, drinking excessively, because a lot of times people do that to control their symptoms. And then seek counseling, professional help. A lot of people have pastors or religious type individuals that they feel comfortable with going to. If they have some skill in that, definitely seek that help. And we're going to go into what spiritual help is all about. And I'm getting close to an end. Somebody help me. What time is it? I don't have my
2:30. 1:30.
1:30. That was when I was supposed to stop. So I'm getting close. So I'm standing in the way of the dinner here. I'll be a lunch here. So I want to make sure I make these points. Who here does a daily devotion? Raise your hand if you do. Excellent. That's good. Who here prays occasionally? Good. Who here attends a religious service regularly? So a lot of us are doing some of the right things that's going to help in our spiritual health. Okay? So spiritual health is really about attending some type of organized religious service. That's one part of it. Connecting with others of the same faith outside of that service. Challenging each other to be better. Giving to others. Donating. That makes you feel better. Tithing. Actually, when you look at the end of the year and you tithe a certain amount, I look at that, because I do tithe. When I look at the end of the year, what I've given for that year, I'm like, man, that's nice. That's a lot of money. Like, I did that? That's nice. And I know then that I've been a help. And it just feels good to know that. And then the tax return after that don't feel too bad either. I'm saying there's practicality in that too. But helping others helps you. You just feel better when you help other people. So definitely do that. So how do we stay healthy for the holidays? You want to healthy eating and drinking, proper exercise and rest, taking care of individual and family responsibilities. Stress management is important. Regular appointments with your PCP, that's really important as well. And then having a proper relationship with your parishioners, people that you share a religious faith with, your spiritual leaders, the person that are leading having that relationship, and having that really good relationship with God, that you can have that one-on-one with Him. Those are all very, very important. So it's real easy to stay healthy for the holidays. I've given you a few ways to do that. So I'm gonna ask if there are any questions. Any questions? If I get no questions, that means that I probably did an okay job.
Yes.
So, the Alfordism of the day, I have Alfordisms. I have all kinds of thoughts and things that I'm just sitting and pondering about, and and I write them down. I have a lot of Alfordisms. You will see a book at some point that's full of Alfordisms. But this is one that I want to share with you today. If you share your joy, it multiplies. But if you share your pain, it diminishes. The important thing you got to do is just share. Just share. Thank you.
All right, Dr. Alford, I actually need you back up here, please. And can we just clap again for him?
I'm just president of that.
Okay, President, you got to claim it. Okay, so now we want to honor you with a certificate of appreciation. So they will be bringing that to you for all of your consistency with the Still I Rise program.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Get in this too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Right.
How you want to do it? Oh, yeah, get the crowd. Oh, you got it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Oh, you're welcome. Welcome. Anytime.
And before we move on, I just want to acknowledge Mayor Chris Curtis. Do you mind standing up for a second? I know, I'm always calling you. Okay, just wait. Okay, I just want to thank you all for what you do in the community as well, so we want to acknowledge you. Now we're closing the raffle tickets, so if you have raffle tickets, have those ready. Oh, so we have the winner, whoever has that one raffle ticket.